not attempt this at home. Doing so would only expose just how useless and brainless these people really are.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Are you ready?
Because if we didn't get him a job, he'd probably be dead. It's The Stansberry Show. Rock 1069.
Welcome to Thursday morning on The Stansberry Show on Rock 1069. Yesterday's program, if you happen to miss anything in that, that's posted in the podcast section at WRQK.com. Actually, the Stansberry Show section is where you can grab that. Talked to little Sylvester Stallone yesterday. Apparently he's out there on set of Tulsa King yelling at extras and the like, so much so that apparently the casting company who had been working on Tulsa King says, we're done. We're walking out of this. Some of our extras and, background actors and the like are being berated by this man. Apparently he was complaining about the weight of some of them. And look, television is a visual medium, dude. Good-looking people who normally find themselves in front of the camera. And apparently he said he wanted young, beautiful women brought near him. Now, the weird part about that is they said his wife was on set. Unless she wants that too, and let's be honest, those people are out there. I can't imagine any married man is like, hey, my wife is here right on set. Can you bring me Temptation Island and put it right here in front of me? Like, I just don't see that as the reality. But we talked to little Sylvester Stallone yesterday. If you missed that, you can grab it at WRQK.com. A lot to get into on this morning's program, including at 9 a.m. Tori Spelling is doing something gross in front of her children. We'll get to that coming up at 9. Should let you know that the Guards did win against the Sox last night, 7-6 over Chicago, and Josh Naylor got you 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a home run. Cavs win last night too, 110-98 over the Grizzlies too. That was pretty good there for the Cavaliers. It has not been great for them over like the last 2 months. Not looking real good for the Cavaliers. It's 330-450-7625 to text the studio, and you can find me on your socials at The Stansberry Show. 8 a.m. this morning, we're going to have to take a look at Minneapolis and Uber and Lyft. There is a fight over rideshare driver pay, and Minneapolis apparently is going to be the battleground of this. Also, we have some new data on just how often does a rideshare driver crash. It's way more often than you think, and it's way more often than we hear about. Can't be surprised about that. I can't imagine Uber or Lyft would want us knowing that. I'm sure there's a few other rideshare companies. Those two seem to be the biggest, at least here in our market. Of course they don't want you to know that. That's, like I said, it's much like the Vegas thing. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That's not a thing of like, hey, come cheat on your wife, nobody will ever know. That was about how much crime was in Las Vegas, and you never hear about it outside of the city because they want you to come there to drop your money off. Like, that's literally what that was. And then some tourist bureau was like, I got an idea. And they took it and polished it and repurposed it. That feels like the same kind of mentality. Of course I'm not hearing about all the crashes Uber and Lyft get into. They want us in their cars. They want consumers. And the more you hear about that, the less likely I would imagine you would be to order one of those rides, unless you're hammered. Then all of a sudden it's like, all right, I'll take the risk of them crashing versus me crashing and getting like the $10,000 fine, or even worse, maybe somebody gets hurt in that situation. So we'll talk all things rideshare drivers, rideshare companies. We'll get there coming up at 8 o'clock. Looking forward. There's a term men hate, and they fear being put into this state. That is the friend zone. Men hate hearing the friend zone. They don't want to be in the friend zone. Men don't want to have sex with pretty women. They don't want to be friends with them. They want to have sex with pretty women. But it turns out being put in the friend zone can actually be beneficial. They're trying to sell this argument. I'm not sure I buy it, but I am going to walk you through it coming up at 7 o'clock. I think this will depend on what age range you're in. I think there's a difference between being put in the friend zone at 17 and you've both been through 2 divorces. They're not ready for a relationship yet. Let's just be friends a little bit, hang out a little bit, because before long, you know how that's going to go. All right, nobody wants either one of our old asses. We might as well just get drunk some more and just swap genitals around amongst one another, right? Like I think there's a very big difference in when you're being friend zoned. I think there's a difference in young girls versus women and how they will view that and whether or not they're using it as a weaponized mechanism, the friend zone, or not. And I think that will be a difference depending on the age range of people that we're talking about. So we'll take a look at the friend zone, all things surrounding it. We shall spend part of the 7 o'clock hour doing that this morning.
Here's what's next on the Stansberry Show.
Well, what's next is I am absolutely terrified of my own parking lot. I'll get into why next on Rock 106.9.
And you know what that conniving trickery is called?
The Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9. 9 a.m. What the hell is Tori Spelling doing in front of her children? I honestly can't wait for that one. I may move that up in the docket. That is bananas what's happening there. Hollywood, man, the actors, they're always just, again, when you're loaded, a lot of money, come from a Hollywood family, you're eccentric. You do this kind of stuff without money, you're a creep. We'll get there coming up at night. Pretty awful. I woke up in a pretty good mood this morning. Went to bed at a decent hour. I wanted to stay up last night for the premiere of Fallout on Amazon. I did not. It was supposed to come out today. Apparently, the people are so excited about it. They put it out last night, 9 o'clock Eastern. And that was just a little late for me. I was like, no. I actually want to see this. I don't want to fall asleep in the first episode or whatever. I'll just wait. And then I'll go home on Thursday afternoon and I'll have something to watch. But then I forgot. Oh, man, I got plenty to watch today. I got the beginning of The Masters today. As a matter of fact, I'm told I get Jason Day, Max Homa, and Tiger Woods all playing together today at 124. Now, most of you probably don't know Jason Day, Columbus resident. His wife is from the area, so he now makes Ohio his home. Max Homa, who went to Cal, who's like one of the best new young golfers out on the tour, a social media fan favorite. He kind of got more popular by roasting people's swings. They would send him their videos, and he would like roast their swings. He got famous for that even before for his golf. He's been playing pretty good. We'll see if he's able to compete. And Tiger said the other day, if all things come together, he feels like he can get one more. I'll never count him out at Augusta. It's a completely different type of a tournament field. The condition, he knows that course. As a matter of fact, once upon a time, they had to do what they called Tiger-proof it. They had to try to make the course different and longer because of how long he was off the tee, and we just hadn't seen that before him. They were trying to Tiger-proof places. He knows Augusta like the back of his hand, won there in 2019. That was an emotional moment for golf, so we'll see what we get there. I'm hoping Tiger is at least competitive all 4 rounds. I hope what you have to do is watch the tournament on Sunday to see if he can win it. Then I think it's a win. If he's out by Saturday or he's not real competitive, this is bad for the sport. You got the stars spread across 2 different leagues now, the PGA and now LIV. I've never watched less golf ever than I am right now, and I'm not anti-LIV. I'm just anti trying to keep up with where everybody is. I've never watched less golf than I am right now. I don't think what they've done to these leagues is doing what they thought it would. Now I could be wrong. I could be making that too much about me. So I woke up, I was in a pretty good mood. I was like, man, I got the Masters today. I got Fallout today. Got a lot going on. But then I drove to work. Now, I don't mind being here. But on my way in, I was like, oh, you know what I need? I need a gallon of milk. I keep milk here in the building for, a lot of different reasons. But, I have it for breakfast-type purposes and that kind of stuff. So I normally keep a gallon of milk. And I normally bring that from my house. I go to the grocery store, buy 2, one for the house, one for the office, and then, that's the way that goes. You guys know how buying milk goes. I don't know what the hell I told you that for. But on my way here, I was like, oh, I don't have any in the building. Oh, man, I didn't bring it from my house. I know what I'll do. I'll stop at a 24-hour convenient, gas station type place. I got 3 of them right around the corner from the radio station. They all sell milk. I'll be fine. So I get off the exit, and I go into the store, and I buy the milk. And, of course, I have to scan it and, check myself out, right? I'm not mad about that. It's fine. I don't understand it. I scanned the gallon of milk. $7.49 for a gallon of milk at a gas station. Now, I know I'm the one who always tells you, you're going to pay more for convenience. They put the milk at the back of the grocery store, so you got to walk past everything to go get it. That's not convenient. And so you're in there buying many other things. You're going to pay more for convenience. I understand that. It's really $7.50. That's where we're at for milk right now in a convenience type operation. $7.50 for milk? Are you kidding me? Now, I know that's not what most people are paying when they go to the grocery store, so I don't really get to use this sentence, like, how do people even give milk to their children? But, like, how do people give milk to their children? Like, how in the hell is that happening? I was blown away by that. I've said this forever. I am very blessed in my life, right? I'm not married. I don't have kids. That's not the blessing. That's actually a detriment. But I don't have to spend a lot of my money on said things, right? She kind of takes care of her kids. Yes, if we all go out to dinner, I'll buy dinner and stuff like that. But it's not the same struggle that parents have. I showed up in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? It's not the same struggle. I've never really price checked anything in my career. In between jobs, for sure I am. While I'm working, not so much. I'm lucky. I make a halfway decent living that I don't normally have to pay attention to. But over this last 2 years, I have stopped buying things at the grocery store because I'm like, nah, dude, it's just a little too much for these. I can afford it. Wouldn't even notice the money gone. I'll waste the money somewhere else. But I'm making conscious decisions of nah, a little too much now. That at $3 I liked. At $4.50, it's a little too much. I ain't doing it. And so, if I'm starting to notice sticker prices is essentially the point I'm trying to make, then just how bad is this getting for everybody? You took a guy who was apathetic about stickers his entire life about the pricing. Whatever, the price is the price. Here's my card. I want to pay, right? And now I'm kind of I don't know. I should probably start comparison shopping. I'm guessing maybe some of that's my age too, growing a little bit. Okay, fair enough. But when I saw that this morning, I was like, $7.50? For some $7.49. Sorry, let's not be. I don't want to be fake news. Don't want to be fake news. $7.49 on a gallon of milk. Shocked by that. But then I get here, and I don't know what to do about this. It's not the first time I've seen this. As a matter of fact, I've seen it every single day this week, and I used to see it all the time. They haven't been around. There's a person who uses my parking lot here at the building to sleep. They're in their car. Plenty of people live in their car. I have lived in my car once upon a time to do this for a living. As a matter of fact, ironically, as I'm telling you this story, in the back parking lot of WMS is where I live. In my car. That's kind of a thing. But this guy has been in this parking lot every day this week. I used to see him here all the time months ago, and then he hadn't been around. Normally parks up front, near the front door, which is not where staff parks. And normally when he sees you pull in the parking lot, it's like, oh, right, put it in reverse and we gotta go, right? And he gets out of there. All worried that somebody's gonna, come out of the parking lot and be like, yo, man, you can't just be hanging out here. You can't be doing this, and kick him out. I don't do that. I don't know if I should be. I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know, it feels somehow doing the right thing there, which would be protecting everybody else who works here. Feels like doing the wrong thing to him. But like I said, normally he bails. Yesterday he didn't. He was parked up front. Today, I think because he gets hassled when people are driving down the street and see somebody's in the lot when they shouldn't be, they pull in here. By somebody, I mean maybe police. He's now starting to park in the back of the building where we park. And I'm sitting there, I get out of the car, and I shouldn't maybe tell crazy people this, I'm the only one here this early in the morning. There's nobody else here. Maybe I probably shouldn't tell you there's no security guard, but there isn't, right? And so now I'm just getting out of my car while this person's just sitting here, and I don't know what to do. I don't really feel afraid by it, but I left my reading glasses in the car this morning. And I was like, I need to go back out to the car and get those. And I was like, what if the guy robs me? What if he attacks me? And I was like, don't, quit being a sissy. Go back out there and get your glasses. He didn't say anything to me. He didn't say anything, you know what I mean? I don't know, if I were a woman, I should be calling somebody to alert them. Right? Well, you kind of are a woman, so maybe pick up the phone and call already. Okay, fair enough. It's one of those things that's odd. It's weird. And it makes me a little suspicious. He's never said or done anything. But if you're sleeping in your car, how long is it before you are desperate enough to try to take something from me because you need it then? How long? And so I just don't know where I'm at in that situation. I don't necessarily want to be the tattletale. I don't want to go, and I don't want to be rude about it at all. Because like I said, I've been there. And he's not really hurting anybody. It doesn't bother me. Normally, by the time the sun comes up, he's gone. You know what it could be? I didn't even think about this as we're going to talk rideshare drivers coming up at 8 o'clock. I guess that's what it could be. It could just be a guy who's like, no, dude, I do airport rides every morning for Uber or Lyft, and you're really close to the airport. We are. We're under a mile away from that airport. And so it could just be a rideshare driver who's like, look, dude, people want stuff from McDonald's, or I take people to the airport, and this is a pretty convenient parking lot somewhere in the middle. The hotels will kick me out. You guys don't seem to have a problem with this. I guess maybe that's what it could be. But it is a little, once I saw him and first he was parked in the parking spot I used. And then I was like, you're not, and then I don't have like a designated parking spot. But when 11 people work in your building, everybody kind of parks in the same place every single day. And so when I first saw that, well, first, you're in my spot. Second, dude, like, you're not going to rob me, right? But now the more I flesh it out with you guys, I'm thinking it's probably just a rideshare driver waiting on airport rides. I guess you can tell me whether or not I should call the cops. 330-450-7625. That's how you text the studio.
He's a man of many talents, but he does not have the talent for keeping quiet.
The Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9. 8 a.m., we'll take a look at rideshare drivers. Minneapolis may be the battleground on their payment. Also, we got some data on how often rideshare drivers crash. You don't think about that, right? You just think, all right, well, that's their job. They're going to pay attention. Now, accidents are accidents. Nobody plans them. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but most people don't plan them. So we'll get there at 8 o'clock. We had been talking about it a little bit because I think that's what I'm dealing with in my parking lot. There's a guy who I think spends some time in our lot, and I get here very early in the morning. Today was, as a matter of fact, today was as late as maybe I've ever been to the building. And he was not in the building, but he was in the parking lot. He normally parks up front. Today he was parked out back where we all park. Not where we all, but normally where the talent parks. And that's just what we're referred to. I hate when I say stuff like that because people are like, does this guy really think he's that talented? It's just literally the term for us. And I think, I was like, hey, could be homeless, could be living in his car, sleeping in these parking lots or the like. We work in an office park. There's plenty of, these other side streets with companies. And the more I thought of it, I was like, I think I'm dealing with a rideshare. We are pretty close to the airport. He's not bothering anybody. People keep telling me to go out there, knock on the window, and say hello to him. I don't know, man. I'd be a little careful with stuff like that. I'm not out to kick him out of the lot. He's not bothering me. I guess it's one of those things. It's like he's not bothering you until he is. I don't feel all that fearful of it. There are security cameras on the outside of the building that can get every view of the building that they need. I know that for sure, as we have had to look at those before over some other instances in the past. So I know we have a security system, obviously. You can't just walk in the door. You need a key card to be able to do that. So I'm protected once I'm in the door. Now, like most locked doors, if you really wanted to get in, you could probably force your way in. Most people, like just kind of like Looney Tunes, a little out to lunch, you're not getting in on that. You're not getting in. I honestly, I don't know, this is making a judgment, but the car doesn't necessarily look like, oh, you're living in it, right? I think what I'm dealing with there is a little bit of a rideshare. That's what I assume that is. And that's fine, right? I mean, we are pretty close to the airport. I think it's under a mile. And I can understand a lot of people using a rideshare in order to go to the airport. That's exactly what I would be doing, right? It's exactly how I would do it. Jay's looking to rain on my parade. Sorry, I was reading a couple of things at the same time while speaking to you. Apparently, I'm not going to get the Masters start that I want. That underway, or should be getting underway this morning in Augusta. Jay letting me know, sorry, man, I hate to break this to you, but they're dealing with some rain. They're saying they're not going to start around 9 a.m., probably 11 or noon before they get started, which will obviously back up the tee times. As I said, Max Homa, Jason Day, Tiger Woods, all slated to play together. That was supposed to be around 1:24 this afternoon. My guess is that will be later. They may even go to split tee boxes. For anybody that does not know what that means, normally everybody tees off at 1. You do a group, then another group, then another group. What they might do is send groups off at 10, hole number 10 and hole number 1. A lot of you that play in golf outings, you will see that happen. It's called split tee boxes, is what that is. They may even make groups larger. We'll see what they decide to do there at Augusta. As a broadcaster, I cannot wait to watch this year's Masters. And it's because of a broadcaster. Don't get me wrong, I want to watch Tiger. He's great. And I hope he wins. And I like him feeling confident going in to the tournament. Looking at the bets at BetMGM, I love Brooks Koepka at plus 1,800. I love that bet. So, of course, I want to watch the golf. But there's a broadcaster I've loved my entire life who is calling his 40th Masters. So, essentially, every Masters.
That winning word. WR.
You take the how the hell do you do that? And you make it look routine. It's just expected out of the greats. But Vern Lundquist, one of my all-time favorite broadcasters inside the sport of golf. I've had a few. Give me David Faraday, give me Vern Lundquist. A lot of you guys like Johnny Miller. I understand it. He wasn't my favorite, but Johnny was an antagonist, and he liked to call players out, and I get that people really like that. I always thought he was a little too smug for my liking, but all right, Johnny Miller's fine. But Vern Lundquist calling his 40th